So let's talk about VLOOKUP or vertical lookup. It's one of the most important concept in Excel, so please pay close attention. VLOOKUP helps us find things in a dataset or range by row. For example, here we want to display the price of product 9 which is listed in a different worksheet. VLOOKUP can help us get that in seconds. Simply put, VLOOKUP function takes 4 parameters as input: what we want to look up or match in our dataset. The second parameter is the range where we want to look or search for it. Here we need to remember one important thing, that our range should always start with the column which contains the value we are looking for. For example, here we are looking for a product name, so the table array should start with product name. If we start with product ID or any other column, it simply won't work. Again, this is very important. Always start your table range from the column that contains the list of value where you need to perform your match. The third parameter signifies which column number in the range should be returned if a match is found. And the fourth parameter checks if we want an exact match or an approximate match. In this video, we will keep it simple and we will only talk about exact match. Let's look at a few examples. A customer is trying to buy a product 9 and wants to know its price. So the product that is being looked up is product 9, which will be our lookup value. Inventory or product table is where we want to look up or search for product 9. So it will be our table array. We want to get the price, so it will be our third parameter. And finally, we want an exact match. Since this product was available in the dataset, we got the price. If we search for a product like product 90, which is not available in our list, it will return an error. Let's look at another example. Here we want to check the available quantity of our products. We have 8 different products listed with their price and the quantity available, and we want to check the quantity of certain products. We will use the VLOOKUP function again. The lookup value will be the product name, which is sport shoes in this case. The table array will be this area. We want the value to be displayed from the third column and we want an exact match. So the quantity for sport shoes is 100. Let's get the quantity of these collar shirts. For that, we will remove sport shoes and instead change the value to collar shirts and we get 120. What if we search for laptop, which is not available in the list? As we discussed earlier, it will give us a not available error. If we do not want to show this error, we can make it look more meaningful by pairing our VLOOKUP with if error statement. For that, we will put our VLOOKUP inside if error, and if the lookup is not available to find a match in the table array, instead of returning NA, it will return a message of our choice. If it finds the value, it will show the corresponding quantity. There is an advanced XLOOKUP function available in the recent versions which solve a lot of problems that VLOOKUP cannot handle easily. We will learn about XLOOKUP in a future video of this series. Meanwhile, let's see how can we ensure we only search for products that are available in our list. For that, we can use data validation on our input values so that we only check for items that are present in the list. For that, let's go to our data tab and we click on data validation. We choose list and we select the products that are available. Now we do not require the if error function because we are only looking up products that we know are present, which is pretty neat. Well, VLOOKUP can also be used to combine data from several different sheets into a single worksheet. For example, here we have the ID for product, employee and region, but we do not have the corresponding names. VLOOKUP will come in handy to get these details from the various sheets. We can select the ID as our lookup value. For the table array, we go to our product sheet and we select the entire range. We need to make sure that we make our range absolute so that when we copy this formula to other cells, the range does not shift or change. The product name is present in the second column, so we specify 2 as our third parameter and then we select false for an exact match. Let's repeat the same procedure on our other columns so that we cement our learning. We will write VLOOKUP. We will select employee ID as our lookup value. We will go to the employee sheet and we will select the entire range as our lookup array. We want the second column as output, so we will select that and we will select false for an exact match. We get the employee name as well. Let's drag our formulas down and finally we can move on to our region column. We look up region ID as our first parameter. We go to the region sheet and we select the entire range for our table array. Let's make it absolute. We select 2 as our third parameter and false for an exact match. Let's quickly complete our formula and copy it to the other cells. And finally, our sheet looks great. So VLOOKUP not only works in the same worksheet, we can also get data or combine data from other worksheets using VLOOKUP. Let me ask you this. What do you think will happen if we have multiple matches for a single lookup value in our table array? Which value will it return? Well, VLOOKUP will return the first match. For example, here we have two values for Agra. It will return Taj Mahal and not Agra Fort because that is coming first. Usually in our real world projects, we try to configure our lookup tables in a way so that we can avoid multiple matches. Let's look at another scenario. What can we do if we need to do lookup on multiple columns? For example, here we want to check if an entry exists on the basis of first and last name and department combined. There are two ways to do it. Either we concatenate our lookup value, that is, instead of selecting a single lookup value, we use a concatenation of our three columns, first name, last name, and department. And for our lookup array, we can add a new column by concatenating the three columns into a single one. Now for our lookup value, we concatenate the three values. Let's do that. And we can use this new column for our lookup as our table array like this. But this means we are changing our original lookup dataset by adding a new column, which is usually not a good idea. So we can simply use AND operators both in our lookup value and table array like this, and we will get our answers if the value are present or not. Let's add a random first name and it will start giving us a not available error. If we wanted to return salary on the basis of these columns, it could have been a little tricky, but we will do it easily using index match and XLOOKUP. Let's move on to another scenario and talk about returning multiple columns. Yes, we can also return multiple columns using VLOOKUP. If we want to return multiple columns, we just write the columns we want to return in curly brackets and we press enter and it will return all the columns. For example, here we want to return 4 columns on the basis of our employee ID. So we will select 1 as our lookup value and we will select this entire range as our table array. Now instead of selecting one column, we will write 2, 3, 4 and 5 in curly brackets. We will separate them by comma and we will select false for an exact match, and now we get all the 4 columns. When we change the employee ID, the result will change accordingly, which is pretty neat. Let's see another situation where we want to get the product ID using the product name column. Now product ID is on the left hand side of product name, and the basic rule of VLOOKUP says that the range should always start with the column where we want to perform our search. Here we want to search on product name, but we want to return product ID. So how can we solve this? Hold on to this thought. We will use index and match to solve this problem easily in our future video, and we will also solve this using XLOOKUP as well.